G'day all, number one Machop fan here with another episode of Machop's Musings. Do you think you know the Kanto Pokédex? I think you don't. I reckon you think that the Kanto Pokédex is basically the first 151 Pokemon of the National Pokédex. I believe that is false. I believe the start of the National Pokédex and the Kanto Pokédex are two completely different things. And in this video, I'm going to put forward my arguments in relation to that, and discuss which Pokemon I believe should and shouldn't be part of the Kanto Pokédex. As part of this argument, I have two questions I'm putting forward. First of all, did we first see it in the wild in Kanto? Obviously, the vast majority of Pokemon we saw in the first games we did find in the wild in Kanto. But not all of them are. Some of them come in from outside Kanto, or at least have no evidence whatsoever that they can be found in Kanto. These are your gift Pokemon, your in-game trades, those kinds of Pokemon. And the second question is it not found only in the Safari Zone? The Safari Zone is basically a zoo. You get a lot of Pokemon there that you don't find anywhere else, and I believe that they are not native to the Kanto region. Think about it. Think about the zoos in your area. The animals that you find in a zoo are not the same animals you're going to find in the wild out in your suburbs, right? For example, I live in Melbourne. We have a number of zoos here. For example, the Werribee Open Range Zoo, where you'll find animals like zebras, rhinos. You're not going to get zebras or rhinos anywhere else in Australia, only in those zoos. They are not native. And I believe it's the same logic with the Safari Zone. The Pokemon you only find there, they're not actually Kanto Pokemon. And it's repeated in other Safari Zones as well, like in Holland. You get Giraffrig, Wobbuffet, who only appear there and nowhere else. I don't think they're Holland Pokemon. So, let's have a look at the Pokemon that I believe shouldn't be in the Kanto Pokédex. First of all, Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. These two Pokemon, and you can only get one of them, you get as gifts for defeating the Karate Master in the Fighting Dojo in Saffron City. But there is no evidence in the games to suggest that they can be found in the wild, aside from the Mew glitch, and nobody counts the Mew glitch. In fact, you'd be hard-pressed to find Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, Hitmontop, or even their pre-evolved form Tyrogue anywhere in the wild. You cannot find Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, Hitmontop anywhere. Tyrogue, even then, you're not going to find it anywhere in Kanto, you're not even going to find it in Johto, even though it's a Gen 2 Pokemon. And you'd be hard-pressed to find it anywhere. In any other region, they only appear under specific circumstances, like swarms or poker radar, stuff like that. They cannot. I don't think they even have a set habitat, at least in any of the regions we've encountered so far. For all we know, Tyrogue may even appear naturally in Galar. That'll be a first for Tyrogue, because it has no set habitat, from what we've seen. Next up is Jinx. Now, before anyone starts, I make no apologies for sticking with the Black Jinx. I don't care how racist it makes me sound. I like Black Jinx better than Purple Jinx, okay? And I'm standing firm on that one. Now, Jinx is actually a bit of an interesting example because in the English and Japanese versions, you've got different stories. In the English version, it's certainly not Kanto native. The only way you can get it is in an in-game trade. And then only in red and blue, so you can only get that one called Lola. You can't get a Jinx called Jinx. You can only get Lola. However, in the Japanese versions, you can find Jinx in the Seafoam Islands. So that one's definitely up for debate. That said, you can find Jinx in the Ice Path in Johto. So Jinx, like its pre-evolved form Smoochum, should be a Generation 2 Pokemon of the Johto Dex, not a Generation 1 Pokemon. Next up is Lapras. Lapras is an even rarer Pokemon than Jinx, at least game-wise. Again, this one's just a gift. You find it in Saffron City when you're infiltrating the Silphco building and beating out Team Rocket. After you've defeated your rival, I don't know why he's sitting there waiting for you instead of doing his job and dealing with Team Rocket. What, is he on their side? But yeah, once you've beaten your rival, there's someone in the same room as your rival who will give you Lapras. but there is no evidence to suggest that Lapras can be found anywhere in the Kanto region. And even in Johto, it's rare. You can only find it in Union Cave, and then only on Fridays. Then there's Eevee. The only Eevees you can find in-game are the one you get from the Pokemaniac at the top of Celadon Mansion, and the one that your rival starts with in Pokemon Yellow. There is no evidence whatsoever to suggest that either of them could be found in Kanto or Johto. They could have come in from the Sinnoh region. They can sometimes be found in the Trophy Garden, Castelia City, Kalos' Route 10, Hoenn Route 116, Melemele Island, but not Kanto and not Johto. Therefore, they should not be in the native Pokédex. Porygon. That's an interesting one because, of course, it is a man-made Pokemon. But who said that whoever invented Porygon hailed from Kanto? Who said that the experiments were conducted in Kanto? They could have been anywhere for all we know. I suppose there is some evidence to suggest it, and that is that you can only get Porygon in the Game Corner. The Game Corner is run by Team Rocket in Kanto, and of course their HQ is in Kanto. Or is it in Kanto? It could just as easily be Johto, actually. I don't think we've ever seen Team Rocket's official HQ. Or we don't even know if they have one. It could be the Viridian City Gym? I don't know. I know Giovanni's boss used to be a gym leader, and he tried to resurrect Team Rocket from that gym. But he never said that he led Team Rocket there at all times, so very much up for debate. But Porygon have been released into the wild. You can find them in the Sinnoh Trophy Garden, in White Forest, occasional Mirage locations in Hoenn, but you can't find them in the wild in Kanto or Johto. And then, of course, you've got the Safari Zone. Scyther, Pinsir, Tauros, all of them can only be found in the Safari Zone, and as such, I believe that none of them are native to Kanto. In fact, Pinsir, Scyther, you don't even find in Johto. Tauros you can find in routes 38 and 39 in Johto, so they are second generation Pokemon. Scyther could be seen as a Sinnoh Pokemon, because you can find it in Sinnoh or in the Battle Zone, but you can't find it in Hoenn or Johto or Kanto. And same with Pinsir. You don't even find Pinsir in Sinnoh either, but you do find it in the neighbouring region, the Battle Zone, which I believe is a completely different region, even though you access it in Generation 4, because it has so many Pokemon that you don't get in Sinnoh itself. Not to mention it's a post-game location. It's a completely different place, completely different Pokemon, completely different region. And there's a bunch of Pokemon that in the first generation games you'll find only in the Safari Zone, like Rhyhorn, Execute, Kangaskhan. Rhyhorn is tricky, but you can find its evolved form Rhydon in Cerulean Cave, and that's part of Kanto. And Cerulean Cave is the reason why I haven't mentioned Chansey or Lickitung either, because rare as they are, you can find them in Cerulean Cave. Execute, you can find kind of in Kanto, in the Kanto-Johto border, but they're a lot more prevalent to the Johto region. So, debatable. Personally, I think they could be counted as Kanto Pokemon because you can find them in some headbutt trees in the southwest part of Kanto, west of Pallet Town, because there is such a place in Kanto as west of Pallet Town. And Kangaskhan, while rare and forced to live just in the Safari Zone, 3 years after those events of Red, Blue, and Yellow, so in Gold, Silver, Crystal, you can actually find them out in the wild in the Rock Tunnel. So they could be seen as Kanto Pokemon. But their backstory, before they got hunted to near extinction, I don't know. That's definitely up for debate. Now, let's flip the coin over and look at a bunch of Gen 2 Pokemon that can be considered to be part of the Kanto Pokédex. Murkrow, Slugma, and Houndour can all be found in Kanto and not Johto. So they should not be considered Johto Pokemon, but Kanto Pokemon. Murkrow you can find in routes 7 and 16 at night. Houndour you can find in route 7 at night. Slugma you can find in routes 16, 17, and 18 whenever. And all of those routes are in Kanto. You cannot find them in Johto, they are not Johto Pokemon. Look beyond that, and you could even argue that maybe Honchkrow could be seen as a Kanto Pokemon, but that really depends on one question, and I think we know the answer to it. Can you find Dusk Stones, which Murkrow needs to evolve, in Kanto? If not, then I don't think that it's a Kanto Pokemon. Again, very much up for debate. I'm interested to hear your thoughts if you leave a comment below. And then there's Elekid and Magby, the pre-evolved forms of Electabuzz, which you can find in the Power Plant, and Magmar, who you find on Cinnabar Island, respectively. You can't find them in Johto either. You can't really find them in the wild at all. The only way you can get them is by breeding Electabuzz and Magmar, both of which were introduced in Kanto games. Ipso facto, that should make Elekid and Magby Kanto Pokemon. And that is the end of my rambling, my video. I've laid my theories out there, and now it's your turn. Leave a comment below, share your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. I may have missed something, or maybe there's something you disagree with. Perhaps you can provide a stronger argument. Go for your life. I'll see you next time.